The young and the restless spoilers. Kyle's decision to make a dark and audacious deal with Victor Newman sent shockwaves not just through their fractured family, but reverberated across the entire landscape of Genoa City, igniting tensions that had long simmered beneath the surface. Driven by a love so intense and desperate for Claire that it clouded his judgment, Kyle threw caution to the wind and dared to propose a bargain that would forever alter the fragile balance of power. Victor Newman, the titan of industry, the man who had unilaterally dictated the fates of those around him for decades, had long stood as the primary obstacle in Kyle and Claire's relationship. His unwavering opposition wasn't just a product of protective grandparental instinct but an ironclad assertion of control rooted in his obsession with dominance and legacy. Despite his formidable influence, Victor lacked any legitimate, grounded reason to prevent their union. His refusal was built not on logic or love, but on arrogance and fear of losing control, an arrogance that, to many, was nothing short of folly. In this volatile chess game, Victor insisted on Kyle's absolute submission, demanding that the young man bend his will to suit Victor's desires, to live under the shadow of his approval. Kyle, by contrast, was a headstrong youth, brimming with zeal and unyielding determination. Where Victor expected obedience, Kyle offered defiance. Where Victor sought to quell rebellion, Kyle stoked the fires of resistance. The conflict was as much about power as it was about passion, with Claire caught squarely in the middle, torn between her grandfather's iron grip and her own heart's longing. Claire, conditioned by years of deference to Victor's will, was willing to sacrifice her love for Kyle if Victor so decreed. Her obedience stemmed not only from respect but also from an ingrained belief in family loyalty that bordered on servitude. But Kyle was unlike her. He was reckless, audacious, and willing to gamble everything. His love for Claire transcended the boundaries set by their elders. In a move that stunned all who heard of it, Kyle laid down a brutal ultimatum: if Victor permitted him to marry Claire, then Jack Abbott, the man Victor despised most and Kyle's own father, would have to pay the ultimate price. This chilling demand was more than a mere bargaining chip, it was a calculated psychological weapon designed to strike at Victor's deepest vulnerability. Jack Abbott was Victor's nemesis, the only man who had ever truly challenged the Newman Empire. By using his father's life as a stake, Kyle revealed a ruthlessness that shocked family and friends alike. Here was a son willing to commodify his own bloodline, placing the life of his father on the table to secure his personal happiness. To many, Kyle's choice marked him as a dangerous, cold-hearted figure. To others, it was a desperate act born from youthful passion and a profound desire to forge a path free from the shackles of family feud and control. The ramifications of Kyle's deal rippled far beyond the immediate family. Genoa City's elite watched with a mixture of fascination and dread as old alliances shifted and new fault lines appeared. The question on everyone's lips was not simply whether Victor would accept such a macabre bargain, but what the fallout would mean for the city's political and business landscape. Could Victor tolerate the death of his greatest enemy for the sake of family peace? Or would he reject the proposal, plunging the city into deeper conflict and tearing apart the fragile web of relationships that held it together? Amid this maelstrom, Claire's own turmoil intensified. Torn between love and loyalty, she faced an impossible choice. To defy Victor meant not only risking family ties but also plunging herself and those she loved into a storm of uncertainty and potential tragedy. To obey Victor was to sacrifice her happiness and resign herself to a future devoid of the love she desired. The weight of this decision bore down on her with crushing force, a poignant symbol of the tragic cost exacted by power struggles disguised as family affairs. Kyle's gambit laid bare the darker side of ambition and love intertwined, the lengths to which a man might go when driven by desire and desperation. His willingness to leverage his father's life revealed a complexity of character marked by conflicting impulses, vulnerability, ruthlessness, hope, and defiance. It exposed the raw human drama beneath the polished surface of wealth and influence, reminding all that behind every empire lie the fraught and fragile ties of family. As the city awaited Victor's response, the stage was set for a confrontation that promised to redefine the landscape of power and love in Genoa City. The collision of wills between Kyle and Victor, underscored by Claire's heart-wrenching dilemma, was a drama of Shakespearean intensity, where every decision could herald salvation or devastation. In this volatile crucible, the true nature of loyalty, sacrifice, and ambition would be tested, and the consequences would ripple through generations to come. The story of Kyle, Claire, Victor, and Jack was not merely a tale of family discord. It was a microcosm of the eternal human struggle for identity, love, and control. In the end, the question remained, how far would one go to claim what they believed was rightfully theirs? And what price would they be willing to pay when the stakes were no less than life and death? Kyle's audacious ultimatum sent shockwaves rippling through every corner of Genoa City, igniting fires that threatened to consume not only his own family but the fragile alliances that had long kept the city's delicate balance intact. Fueled by a desperate and unyielding love for Claire, Kyle dared to stake everything on a deal so dark and dangerous it bordered on madness. He confronted Victor Newman, the towering patriarch whose iron grip had long kept him and Claire apart, with a chilling proposition: if Victor allowed Kyle to marry Claire, then Jack Abbott, the man Victor loathed more than anyone else, would have to die. It was a gambit so ruthless that it seemed to embody the very worst of the Newman family legacy: ambition without conscience, power wielded without mercy, and love twisted into a weapon. Victor's reaction to the ultimatum was as chilling as the deal itself. The man who had built an empire through intimidation and unrelenting force felt a dark thrill course through his veins at the thought of Jack's demise. Yet the true allure for Victor lay not simply in the death of his greatest rival, but in the cruel poetic justice of Jack being brought down by his own son. This was no ordinary victory, it was a humiliation so profound it would echo through the generations. Victor's mind raced with the possibilities, envisioning the devastation this betrayal would wreak on Jack's spirit and on the fragile fabric of his own family. He resolved to wait, to watch the drama unfold like a masterful game of chess, knowing that patience would make the eventual victory all the sweeter. But the cost of this dark deal weighed heavily on others, especially Claire. When she learned of Kyle's sinister bargain, the woman torn between love and loyalty was horrified. To her, the man she had loved and trusted was transformed into someone cold, calculating, and willing to sacrifice his own father's life for his desires. The notion that Kyle could use his own flesh and blood as a bargaining chip was unbearable. Claire's heart ached with the realization that the love she felt was entangled in a web of manipulation and moral compromise. She could not accept such darkness, nor could she allow herself to be complicit in it. Determined to prevent further tragedy, Claire sought out Jack, revealing the cruel ultimatum and pleading with him to understand the dangerous path Kyle had chosen. She hoped that by bringing the truth to light, she might save Kyle from himself and preserve what remained of their fractured family. Claire's confrontation with Jack was a turning point for all involved. She made clear her unwillingness to marry a man capable of such ruthless calculation, asserting that love without honor was a hollow thing. Her courage to speak out not only challenged Kyle's ambitions but also confronted the toxic legacy that Victor had imposed upon their family. This moment marked the beginning of a new chapter, one where the true costs of ambition and betrayal would be laid bare for all to see. Meanwhile, Victor continued to plot behind the scenes, weaving a complex web of intrigue designed to exploit the fractures within the Abbott and Newman families. His tacit approval of Kyle's deadly ultimatum was part of a larger strategy to destabilize his enemies and consolidate his own power. Victor knew that in the ruthless world of Genoa City's elite, control was everything, and he was prepared to wield his influence without mercy to ensure his dominance. As the tension mounted, the lives of Kyle, Claire, Jack, and Victor became increasingly intertwined in a drama of Shakespearean proportions. Every decision carried weighty consequences, with love, loyalty, and power all hanging in the balance. The city watched with bated breath, aware that the coming conflict would reshape the future of the Newman and Abbott dynasties forever. In the midst of this turmoil, Kyle's character was revealed in all its complexity. Beneath the ruthless exterior lay a young man desperate to claim his own destiny, torn between his love for Claire and the dark legacy of his family. His willingness to risk everything, including his own blood, highlighted the dangerous intersection of ambition and emotion that defined his life. Whether his gambit would lead to triumph or tragedy remained uncertain, but the stakes had never been higher. Victor's patience and cunning ensured that he remained a formidable force, manipulating events to his advantage and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. His desire to see Jack fall by the hand of his own son was not just a vendetta but a symbol of his relentless pursuit of power and control. In Victor's world, victory was the only acceptable outcome, no matter the cost. Claire's moral resolve provided a counterpoint to the ruthless ambitions surrounding her. Her refusal to accept Kyle's bargain without question underscored the importance of integrity and conscience in a world dominated by greed and manipulation. Her actions offered a glimmer of hope amid the darkness, a reminder that even in the most tangled webs, love and honor could still prevail. The saga of Kyle, Claire, Victor, and Jack was more than a family feud. It was a reflection of the eternal struggle between love and power, loyalty and betrayal. As each character grappled with their desires and fears, they embodied the timeless human drama that lies at the heart of every great story. The choices they made would not only determine their own fates but would echo through the generations, shaping the legacy of Genoa City for years to come. In this high-stakes game of ambition and passion, there were no simple answers or easy victories. Each move was fraught with risk, each decision could bring salvation or destruction. The only certainty was that the consequences of their actions would reverberate far beyond the walls of their families, touching the lives of all who called Genoa City home. And as the city braced for the storm to come, one question lingered in the air: who would emerge victorious in the relentless battle for love, power, and legacy?